So, when Luke was born and we were waiting for all that stuff to happen where he was going to first talk, first walk, all that stuff, we found I was brand new to it, so I didn't know. What are some of the things that a person should be looking at, should observe and then realize they should get their child tested so they can give them the support that they need?
Yeah,
I think that would be a good thing to talk about.
absolutely. For especially for new parents, you're right. You may not have a lot of experience with children and development in general. And so I often find that newer parents may not know. But I'm gonna, there's a caveat to that. Parents do know when things are not progressing the way they should, and they start to have a sense that something's not quite there. And the challenge has been is that many parents go to the pediatrician with these concerns, and especially if you're a new parent, it gets waved off as, well, you're a new parent, just give him some time, he'll catch up, blah 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 blah. And so I'm actually gonna look it up. The CDC has a really great app that families can use that you can download, and they have a milestone
Yep,
tracker app.
I have
I don't
that.
know if do you use
Oh,
it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that existed. That's
Yeah,
pretty
the
cool.
CDC created one. It's really lovely, and it really goes through all levels of development: motor, cognitive, communication, social, all of those things. And there's been some adjustments within the last year or so around what is considered developmentally appropriate by age, and it's been updated in the app. And so I often ask new parents to download that and just, okay, my child's around this age, oh, they should be doing this and that. Don't stress out if there's a range of development, between this many months and this many months they should be doing X. So, but just to make sure that you're kind of looking and making sure they're on track and knowing what those development milestones look like, what kids should be able to do from birth all the way through toddlerhood. That is one thing that I would highly, highly recommend for families. If you, some autistic children have what I think is actually going to be delineated as maybe a form of autism, is when they might lose skills. This tends to happen around that 18-month mark, where children may be communicating, maybe verbal, saying mama, dada, they may be very interactive. And then all of a sudden, and it seems all of a sudden, it's probably happening a little bit over time, but all of a sudden they're not responding to their name. They're not using words anymore. They're having significant tantrums. They always seem irritable, those kind of things. If that is seen or noticed at any age, especially in that 18-month mark, that is of concern. And all families should then explain this to the pediatrician and get screened and get a full assessment. Because that is something we only see either in children who are autistic or possibly other neurodegenerative kind of, disorders. So it's unusual to see a regression or a loss of skill. That's an indication that there needs to be assessment. The other thing is that the American Academy of Pediatrics does recommend that your child receive screening for autism at the 18-month checkup and the 24-month checkup. And so if that's not being done by your pediatrician, you can request it. One of the screeners, one of the more common ones is called the MCHAT, MCHAT. And that would be something that they should be doing as a part of the well child visits at 18 and 24 months.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting when you said that. So when Luke went in for his evaluation, it was like as if I don't know, how do I put this? What was the thing? What would you say at the very beginning of that? It was I kind of lost it now. It's my Adderall's worn off. It is, and I'll becoming more sporadic. Um, how did you begin that?
Oh, we were just talking about making sure that pediatricians sometimes that parents, even though you may be a new parent,
Ah,
parents kind of know when something's not right
yes,
and will
that's it.
often go to the pediatrician and
Right.
voice concerns.
One of the things that happened with us was people would go, "Has he said anything yet?" And you'd be like, no, because I don't know what age they start talking. I'm like, they can talk at 1, what? Like they can talk at 2. I don't know. um and so what I would do is I would say, oh, and then you'd start thinking there's a problem. And then somebody else will say, everybody's got this story. I know I have a brother who had a kid and he didn't talk until he was 9 and now he's a lawyer. And so then you brush it off. So like there's two ways to go. You can either panic in the beginning, and first of all, there's no reason to panic.
Right.
We're not trying to diagnose some kind of horrible thing. We're trying to get it as early as possible because the brain is developing over time, and it all happens as early as possible. So the quicker you can get a child assessed and then start getting the help, the better it is for them. Um, but don't listen to the people that say, I had a brother that had a son that didn't talk and now he's a lawyer, because there's no harm in getting them screened. It's perfectly fine to go and get a test and get evaluated.
Absolutely. I can't stress enough. It's just a screening. It can be done within your doctor's office. And a screening, because of the nature of a screening, it may capture children who do not have autism on the screening, but there's no harm in getting that ruled out and assessed, because there may be some other challenges, like a little bit of developmental delay in speech and language. And we can go ahead and get them into therapy so that we can get them caught up and get them moving on. So, and the other thing is there's just this zone, age wise, of when communication is developing. Children between like birth and 2 years, especially up until 3, their language skills are just growing so quickly. And so if they're behind, we can, and we can get in early, we can alleviate some of that frustration in communication. We all know how important communication is, not just for our basic needs, but just for our overall development as a human being. So that is a piece. You're absolutely right, Jason. Getting in, there's no harm in a screening, no harm in getting them assessed, and there's no harm in getting started early if there is a delay.